Hi, it's Jerry with I Love RV Life. Today I am going to be upgrading our internet communications inside our fifth wheel Montana. I'm excited about this. I'm going to be installing the new Cradlepoint 1900 from RV Mobile Connect. Hi, it's Jerry. Joan and I travel a lot in our fifth wheel. We really enjoy it, and part of our process of travel is work on the road and entertainment on the road using internet. That has become a big part of our need ever since we started traveling in 2014. And we've been through several cycles of how to be able to do that, from just basically using a phone and the internet service that's on the phone. Then we had to step up our game because we have a mobile office, and there's a previous video that I just recently shot of how we work on the road while we're traveling. Now, we first started off with something called a internet hotspot. Why use that? Well, a phone just does not work for our specific needs, nor most people's needs who have a lot of bandwidth requirements when they travel. Let me give you a couple examples. If you are working while you're out on the road and you need to be able to connect your laptop or PC, or you're using some type of a pad and you're having to stay online for long periods of times and be able to talk with folks, a hotspot feature from your phone just does not work well. If you are doing something like traveling, you're a travel nurse, or you're on the road and you're homeschooling your children, and your children are going to be online for multiple hours out of the day, you're not going to want to tie up a phone for long periods of time for something like that. Let's say you're teaching, or you're having to do requirements to where you're doing a lot of video calls through Zoom or GoTo or Meet Me or any of those types of services that are out there, and you're going to be spending hours doing these video conference calls. Using a phone is not going to work well. Well, we went to a hotspot. Hotspot served us well for about a year, and then as we started to extend our travels further out and going to more rural, remote locations, that hotspot started being a challenge. What is a hotspot? These are devices that are dedicated to cellular internet communications. Usually they look small, like a hockey puck or a small device. And they work well for basic configurations. But again, once you start traveling out and you're getting more remote, we started running into challenge after challenge after challenge, because there's a little teeny dinky ceramic style antenna inside those units. And if you've got one bar, you may or may not be able to get enough bandwidth to handle the types of communications that you may want, especially if you're having to move large files up and down outside of the cloud, or again, you're doing those important video conference calls. Second to that, we've run into more and more people who are working remotely on the road, who are doing call center work, or their business requires them to have an IP phone. And for those of you who need an IP phone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't plug those into a hotspot. You need something like a router. And many of you who have home networks in your sticks and bricks homes, you have that small router that you can plug devices into, such as servers, or again, those IP phones, so you can work at home and you appear as though your telephone number is not necessarily in the office, wherever that is in the world. It actually appears in your home. So hotspots do not work for that. So what we've done is we contacted RV Mobile Connect, and we asked them, what are your solutions that you have? Here's the great thing. Again, many of you may know this. I've talked about it in the past. I was a telecommunications engineer and operations specialist for almost 30 years, large infrastructure. I worked in this environment, everything from fiber optic networks to cellular networks, doing design work and operational support for very, very large corporations, universities, and even government facilities throughout the United States, Canada, Caribbean, Central America. I've been in a lot of places doing this work. So I'm a technologist by trade. So I'm always looking for a good, high quality product that I can buy once, and it served me for a long time until the technology is ready for a shift. And I want it to be reliable, I want it to work, and I want it to be able to not just meet my needs, but it needs to exceed my needs now, because I know I'm going to grow into having other types of things that I might need to connect to that technology or communicate through that technology in the future. That's where RV Mobile Connect came into. Now, going to RV Mobile Connect, why do I want to be able to use their service when there are multiple manufacturers of these types of devices, and they go from very, very entry level up to very expensive? And there's a lot of reasons to be able to go through that whole spectrum, but I chose Cradlepoint and RV Mobile Connect for a specific reason. So let me share you the site here for RV Mobile Connect, and let's look at what they do for you. The biggest issue when you're starting to use technology, and they state it here right on the front of their website, is to help you increase your productivity and save time. I've said this 1,000 times. Time is money. It doesn't matter whether you're working for yourself, working for a client, or you're supporting some corporate business where you're located remotely. Time is money. They're not your client or your company you're working for is not going to understand that I do not have good connectivity today, so I can't work. That is not going to go over well when you're an RV Mobile user or a nomadic nomad, however you would want to phrase that, either doing long-term travel like Joan and I do, or if you're full-time out on the road. Increased productivity and saving time is the key to being able to work effectively within the RV. Now, more about RV Mobile Connect. They assist you in the selection of the best connectivity option and help you in both comparing price and performance for your specific needs. If you do not have a cellular internet plan, they can assist you with that as well. They partner with a number of different companies to help you find an internet plan that is affordable and give you the bandwidth that you're going to need to do the type of work that you're required to do. Next, they will assist you in recommending a cellular antenna for your RV and the type of travel you do. Here is the nice thing about having a installed system such as this Cradlepoint and an antenna that is permanently affixed to the roof of your RV. You just turn it on. There's no setting poles up. There's no running wires, out in the campground to try to find a location where you can get the best connectivity to the satellite when we talked about Starlink, or going window to window with your phone or your hotspot, hoping that you can get an extra bar to work on your cellular connection. With these high gain, permanently fixed antennas on your roof, you just turn it on. It's wonderful. It's just like being in your sticks and bricks home. You just have internet and the internet works. Lastly, they'll connect you with a qualified installer if needed. Now, these systems are not very difficult to install, and especially Cradlepoint has made it easy with the apps that I'll be showing you and the other types of pre-configuration that can be done ahead of time. But again, for me, being a technologist for a long time, this is second nature to me. I don't even think twice about installing and configuring this type of equipment. And if you are handy with a screwdriver and comfortable with doing basic wiring to connect one of these, and it doesn't bother you to drill a hole in the ceiling of your camper and run the wires, if you're capable of doing that, then these aren't a big challenge to be able to install. But again, if that is not your skill set, then RV Mobile Connect has a series of integrators that can do this turnkey for you, from ordering the equipment, getting it installed, and getting you working or doing your homeschool or meeting those high-end entertainment needs through a cellular internet connection while you're out on the road. There's two key components for us to be using for our cellular internet connectivity while we're going to be traveling on the road. But we have evolved over the past several years, starting in 2014. Again, we started with very basic. We went to a mid-range solution, and now we're really going to step up to a higher enterprise solution. But I'll stop here. If you go to RV Mobile Connect, you may be saying, I don't need to go to that top of the line solution. We don't need all those features and functionality. We just want to be able to have a high quality connectivity that is affordable. The good thing about RV Mobile Connect, they have sized the systems and the technology to help you find something to find your budget. So they have I'll call it an entry-level system, but I don't want you thinking that it is on the low end of capabilities and technology. It's still a very high-quality Cradlepoint solution and an antenna solution that they recommend. They've got mid-price units, and they go up to the 1900 that I have here. Now, again, this 1900 will meet all of our specific needs. We've got the ability to be able to connect hardwire, Ethernet connectivity into it. We also have a wide range of ports. Now this looks like a lot, and it is a lot of different ports to be able to connect to our antenna. This unit will support 2 SIM cards. So let's say, just as an example, I've got a Verizon card in here that has, let's say, 100 gigabytes of transport on it. And then I have another T-Mobile that might have 50. I'm just going to use that as an example. And we've been out on the road and we're traveling. I might not be able to get a good Verizon connection, so I can switch to T-Mobile or vice versa. And so that's one benefit of using 2 different SIM cards in here. Another capability that exists within this dual system is once I get to the 100 gigabit and cap on that throughput, it can switch over to the second one automatically. I don't have to do anything to do that, and I can start using bandwidth on that next one. That's a huge feature. There's a number of other things that exist within the Cradlepoint solution as well that I want to go into. But again, from a connectivity standpoint, this will handle both cellular connectivity for both SIM cards. So it can handle up to 4 cellular LTE antenna connections. Those are referred to often as MIMO, 2 pairs MIMO. Also has 2 different ports on here for being able to do your Wi-Fi. We're going to set up 1 antenna internally. If you look right, let's see if I can show you, right up here at the top of the cabinet, right there, this is going to be mounted up on the top, and we're going to have 1 internal antenna, and then we're going to use one of the external antennas that I'll be showing you in a second. So when we're traveling down the road in our F350 ton truck and pulling this, guess what? We are going to have cellular-based Wi-Fi that is going to exist on this router through that antenna outside as we travel down the road. So it's going to be really fantastic. And let's face it, sometimes I want to work on the picnic table that's at the campground, and I'll have Wi-Fi outside so I can be able to do that. Am I going to be spoiled? Of course I am. But again, I love RV life, right? So using this is going to really be a game changer. This 1900 will also allow us to grow into other technologies as time goes on. Currently, I'm going to be using what they call a 4 LTE type service, 4G LTE type service, but this unit is also capable today of being able to support 5G. So if you were to get one of the 5G hotspot plans, no problem with this unit. So this is the only one in the RV Mobile Connect group of products that handles 5G. So this is on the top line. Now, this is rugged. If you were to look at this case, this is a solid anodized aluminum case with a heat sink built in on top. This is made rugged. These devices, whether you're going to the entry level or to the higher end level, are made to be able to use in not just an RV environment, but on job sites where you're having construction, or trucking companies are using these, or mobile locations that are maybe government facilities or things like that that are out in the boonies and they need good quality connectivity. These things are very, very rugged, and they carry a great warranty as well. So that was also important, because guess what? Towing these fifth wheels down the highway is like towing them through a what? A 9.5 earthquake. So I want it to be able to handle that vibration and all the electronics not be shook out of it, and it lasts us a long time. So that's another very important solution. Let me stop here and just share with you the antenna solution that we're going to be using. This is a parsec antenna. You'll notice it's about the size of an LP album. If you were to look at it, and inside this is a number of antennas. So this has the capability, you can see here by all the different connections, this spaghetti of connections that we have here. This is called a Husky. Now again, RV Mobile Connect has a number of different style antennas at a number of different price ranges to fit your specific need. But again, we're stepping up our game substantially, and we wanted to go with something that was going to be a little bit more on the higher end. This is a higher gain antenna for the cellular radios so that we can get that boost coming into the Cradlepoint 1900. It's able to support the 2 different SIM cards that we will be installing over time. It also has, as I shared earlier, the outside Wi-Fi connectivity if we want to go that route and want to use either one or both of the ports from the inside here. We're going to experiment with that a little bit and see if we're going to go one antenna inside or both antennas outside. We'll see what the connectivity is. It has a Bluetooth connection so that you can gain access to the 1900 from outside if you choose to do that, all with a higher gain. And it's a very simple install that we'll be showing you here in just a few minutes as we put this up on the roof. This one came with more cable than I need. This is 12 feet of cable. So as you're looking for a place to be able to install it, you've got a lot of options to be able to route the cable to your specific router. So a 12 feet cable is a lot for an internal wiring solution. So that gives me a lot of options on where I would want to place this and place it to the 1900. Now, in addition to this very reliable 1900 equipment or the other systems that are also offered by RV Mobile Connect, when you pick this package and you acquire it from RV Mobile Connect, they also provide you 3 years of a service through Cradlepoint called NetCloud. And NetCloud is a very wide range service of features and capabilities, most that can be managed through an app on your cell phone or a tablet. And this will allow you to be able to configure your unit, monitor the health of your connectivity while you're out there, or if you need to add additional features. Again, those of you who are needing to connect to a corporate network and you got to have something called a VPN to connect your router to the corporate network, the enterprise solution that they have, this has the capability of doing that at no additional extra cost. And there's so many more features that we can go into. But what I would do here is that if you're considering something like this, contact RV Mobile Connect, tell them what your specific needs, what type of solutions that you're going to need, either just through basic entertainment, homeschool, work on the road for yourself, or whether you're having to make the nomad connectivity for you to deal with the large corporate networks that will require advanced communications. They'll give you guidance that all these systems will be able to support that, most likely. And on top of that, they will help you get that configured if you need that extra time. And one other feature that I meant to mention, they also provide you, if needed, 1 hour with a systems engineer to help you configure your unit if you do need those advanced features. So where are we going from here? I am going to be replacing my current system. I'm going to be gutting it out of here. It's pretty simple. It's going to be removing a box that I have installed over the cabinet up there, and then I've got a antenna up on the roof that I'm going to be removing, and I'm going to install this Husky. So that's going to be step number 1, get this antenna going while I've got pretty weather. And then the next thing that we'll be doing is wiring in the 1900, and then we'll go through the configuration, and then we're going to be doing speed tests. Now, the location that we're in right now, cellular connectivity is moderate. Now, this is no fault of the 1900 at all. It's just where we're located. I just do not have the super fast connectivity here just because we're kind of off in a remote area. But what we will be doing is I'll do the testing here. The next thing I want to be able to do is we are going to be going to the Tampa RV Super Show, and there's going to be a lot of people using cellular connectivity down there. And we're going to see how this thing is going to perform there and how we can configure it to get the best use of the system. And then throughout the years, we travel to different locations, a state park in the middle of nowhere, or maybe at the beach down in Florida. We'll give you some additional insight on how well this 1900 is going to be able to work for us. Okay, let's head up on the roof and let's start installing this new antenna. Okay, I still have the other system hooked up, and before I go up on the roof and start, tearing the old system out and removing the antenna, I just want to do a speed test to do a comparison between this old unit to the new unit. So I'm just going to do this from my phone real quick. So let's take a quick look and just see what kind of speeds. They're not going to be impressive. Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting out here in this rural location I am with the old system and the old antenna. And I'll just do a screenshot here real quick on the phone. All right, let's try it. Let's see what's going to happen here. All right, here we go. I was hoping I could get a megabit. It tried it for a second. It doesn't look promising, does it? Yeah, I'm going to be lucky if I get a half down. Again, I'm in a very difficult location to pick up this tower. Getting maybe 3. Am I going to hit 3 upload? Barely. The tower's on the other side of a lake, so for some reason it just makes it really difficult to get it. Yeah. Not quite a megabit. I didn't expect much more. It's going to be really tough. Okay, so this is the old system. Let's go up on top of the roof and start tearing this thing apart and put the new antenna in. This is a cabinet that we, store pots and pans and things like that. Fortunately, as you'll notice right here, this is a false ceiling that was mounted up here, and I took it down. And I was able to come up here. I'll kind of turn the camera sideways and cut some holes in. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, this butchery that you see here, this came from the factory. So I was able to stick my hand through here and see where ceiling roof studs existed. So I was able to go up here and drill an exploratory hole up through the roof. Made it really easy, really easy to install this antenna. And this false ceiling that you see here will go back up in place and then, hide all this mess here. All right, so I have gone ahead and drilled the hole up here for the previous antenna. I have removed that antenna, and you'll see in just a few minutes I've cleaned the roof with some alcohol and getting it ready to install the new Husky here. So this is going to be super easy. You can see where the old antenna was. And this one's a good bit larger. Let's go ahead and fish this cable through here. Far more cable than what I need. I'm going to kind of test fit this before this has got a 3M kind of a glue cushion that will go in here. I'll also put a little lap sealant around it just to kind of give it a little extra protection. But before I peel this off, go ahead and do a little test fit here. Make sure it's going to go in the hole without any trouble. Yeah, no problem. All right. Now we'll peel off this 3M here. To give it a real good seal. Make sure there's no trash or anything around. Get up underneath it. There we go. And here we go. I wish I could show how hard this is, but it isn't. It's just very simple. Such a simple installation. All right, now just for a little extra protection, I'm not sure that we'll need it. I'm gonna And I'll have a retainer bolt down on the bottom. But I am going to put just a little bit of a lap sealant here around the edge, just to give it that, you know, we'll just call it insurance for lack of a better term. All right, little insurance bead there. That is all it is to it. Nice little install. Nice little profile too, not bad at all. All right, let's go get this finished up. This is that cabinet that we were talking about where I ran the wiring in from the roof. You can see I've replaced that false ceiling now. It's nice and clean. You can see where I came in from the right and then going access. Now, for this installation for now, I am going to be running off of a 120 volt type of installation, and I'm not too worried about that. I will be adding a new connection here later. This you can order these Cradlepoints with these, I call them wall warts, whatever you want to call them, the transformer power supplies that you plug in. So I have that installed for now. I will be adding this as 12 volts later. Let's go here to the other side, and I'll show you where we're located. You can actually see the top of the Wi-Fi antenna. Let's get a close-up here. Let's go up here to the top. I haven't screwed this down yet. I will be doing that. I wanted to at least show you how the cables run in from the outside. That's the antenna from the outside, and then of course the power. You can see the power connector that's going right here. These are the individual antennas I showed you from the Parsec that I have up on the roof that I installed just a few minutes ago. So this has got the 2 sets of MIMO. It's got a GPS antenna. I'll show you that from the Cradlepoint application, what that does for you from a feature standpoint. It's pretty incredible. And it's got Bluetooth, and this is, and I could wire this to have 2 Wi-Fi antennas on top. I have it set for 1 here. Here's my other one. I don't know if I'll be hooking that up later, but for now, I put this dipole that you can get with these as well. So I've got this for serving the inside, and then I've got one for the outside, serving the outside. And I'm hoping we're going to see how this is going to work. I'll be showing that on a video later this week of us driving down the road and see if we can access this from the inside camper. So that's going to be pretty incredible. And so it's installed. You can see I've turned the power on to it. And we're just going to do a little basic thing here real quick and see how this works. I haven't done any configuration as of yet. I'm just going to turn it on and see if it works. So I've installed here on the side. I'll turn this around here as well. Let me show you a little bit more. I've talked about this earlier. There's all my connections where I will be adding a NAS to this later. And then you can see right here, I'll move this wire. You can see right here, you can put 2 SIM cards. So right now I am operating with just one right now, a Verizon. I will be adding another one here later as well. So, and as well as mounting a NAS server up here too. So this is going to be pretty incredible. Perfect. Kind of out of, when you look at the installation, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Let me back up here. So this is our cabinet area. I'm not cluttering it with a whole bunch of electronics. The only thing that's going to be visible is that one little dipole antenna. So that makes Joan happy that I'm not cluttering up all the walls. So it just worked out well for us. And they gave us a lot of options. Okay, from here, let's just do a basic test before I start going into the software and doing configurations and looking at things. I don't think I'm going to have to do much. And just see, compared to the previous unit to this unit, how this is operating. Installing the antenna did not take any time. The most time that it took was just making sure, if you're doing this for the first time, that you can put the hole in the proper location. The other thing I'll mention about installing the antenna quickly is you don't want it jammed up next to your air conditioner or near another antenna. Make sure you've got some space. I like to mount it to the side so that I've got a clear view of the outside world, and then I'm probably a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet away from my air conditioner or anything else that would cause any type of an opposing view. So you don't want it too close to anything else. So that worked out well. Ran the cable down, I showed you that. I've installed the 1900, I've got all the connections to it, I've got the dipole, got power to it, we're ready to go. I haven't gone into the software as of yet to do any type of configuration. So I've just powered it on, and I just want to see what it's going to be like just to hit the button and see what it looks like. So I've got the phone again. We're just going to do just basically a SpeedNet test and see how this works compared to the other unit. We'll see. I'm not sure what to expect. All right, let's connect, make sure we're connected to the 1900. There we see that we are on the 1900, so that's good for Wi-Fi. And we will open up my speedtest.net app on my iPhone. And here we go. Let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, wow, the ping time is fast. And, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Remember now, I wasn't even getting a megabit just a couple hours ago. 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. Oh my goodness. Now, this is a substantially different antenna. This is a 12 dB gain antenna, and this 1900 is quite substantial. So upload speeds are not much different, 3-ish and change. This is incredible. But download speeds at 17 means I can work, I do all my web work and YouTube work for I Love RV Life. Joan can have entertainment on TV. I can have my Alexa Echo Dot playing me a little bit of music in the background, and still have just a ton of bandwidth. This is incredible. Okay, well, that was impressive. All I've done was hook the connections up to the antenna and power. Boom. Wow, that is impressive. So again, I'm running a Verizon hotspot prepay SIM card. This is a grandfathered plan that I have that is unlimited. But again, it can be Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and some of the various others that are out there. But I'm just going to run this one SIM card for now. I will be adding an AT&T a little bit later. But wow, that was impressive. Maybe over 17 times faster on download speed. That's incredible. Okay, now we're going to go into what's called NetCloud. Again, with the RV Mobile Connect package, you get NetCloud for 3 years. And this will allow you to be able to not only manage, but check the health of your connections and some other things. So I'm going to kind of carry you from a viewpoint of what NetCloud can do for most of us. I would say probably over 90% of us as users that don't need the corporate connections for call center applications and those types of things. This is where that would be set up as well. Again, with the RV Mobile Connect package, you get 1 hour of a system engineer if you need to do the advanced things, and that is not, again, in your wheelhouse, and you need to be able to have that extra level of super engineer help you with those minor connections. So you can get that information from your company of what you need as far as being able to make the VPN connection. They'll share that with you, and then you can give that to the system engineer, and they will assist you with setting up NetCloud. They can either do it one of two ways. They can guide you through it, or they can gain access to your laptop or your PC under your guidance and take you through those steps as well. It's pretty impressive. Okay, I am going to now go from this screen to my laptop and do a screen capture, and we'll go into NetCloud and I'll show you what that looks like. I've logged on to NetCloud, and it's just a username and a password that'll be set up for you when you work with RV Mobile Connect. All those tasks will be taken care of for you. You can see here that I am logged on to the R1900, so that's why my Wi-Fi signal is so strong here inside the fifth wheel. And you can see my configuration. There is my device. So there's a number of different things here that I'm going to show you just quickly of what you can look at. So we will go inside the name of my unit here. All this can be changed or modified however you choose to do it.
First thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at just kind of the overall health of this unit. You can see here from the screen, there's the status of the 2 SIM cards that I have. So there's the Verizon card that I currently have online, and there's a vacant spot that I'll be adding later. Then you can also look at the different Ethernet connections. If I had a server or a NAS or an IP phone, I could see the connections that I would have on the router. So here we're just looking at the overall health of this unit. This is the data usage that we're using so far. We can look at the health of the connection that I have here, and I think this is the biggest issue. When you go into an area, you want to know, okay, do I have good connection, bad connection, what should I expect? And I'm just setting this up for the last 7 days. I've been playing with this a little bit until I actually showed you the screen as I was finalizing the install. So you can see the total uptime that I have here. The quality of my experience is good. You know, that's kind of like the thumbnail that I would quickly use. You can look at the uptime that I have here, and you can see what my uptime has been since I powered this on just a few days ago. So uptime is, you can actually see where it was powered on right here, and you can see how well this is performing. Basically, it's been up the whole time since I was here. Cellular health is the big boy. So you can actually look at the configuration of what we had. Again, I shared that my connectivity in this specific area is quite poor. So you can see I am in the fair location. Now, I can't tell you how excited I am to see what this looks like once I get to a cellular area where I have either a good or excellent connection. So even at a good connection, you know, you saw what the performance was just from my cell phone. It was pretty impressive. Now, this is signal to noise ratio. Again, I have not, you know, gone to the bottom and just completely failed from that perspective, but I can look at that. Now we're seeing some of these other indicators, why I'm getting such a good indication of high-speed data. Now, this is what I really wanted to show you. This 1900 has 5G. My service that I have with Verizon is called 4G. But in many of the Verizon locations, we are being placed in a lower tier of 5G. Is that good? Oh, absolutely. I am paying for a 4G service, yet I'm being placed in the lower tiers of 5G, and that's why you're seeing such a substantial increase in my data transmission performance. And you can see how, even though my signal is poor, the quality of my throughput is very, very good. So when I saw this for the first time, I was just absolutely floored. So you can see cellular health. We can go here to something called groups, and I won't spend a lot of time here, but in the groups, we can click on this and we can look at our configuration, and we can edit our configuration. And this is where we'll do things like change passwords, which is very, very important. So let's look at this. This is the connection manager. You'll notice there's 2 areas here. These are kind of grayed out. I'll start with this one. Let's say that you're visiting friends or family, and you've got a poor connection. You can see my 5G LTE. Again, I'm paying for 4G. My LTE is good, but it could be low. What if it was low and you're visiting, again, friends or family, and you're able to gain access to their Wi-Fi signal from your outdoor antenna? You can actually click this on and log into their network if they would give you access. So that's a feature. And then this is an Ethernet cable that you can plug in. Let's say if you've got an external device like satellite service or some other form of Ethernet from a job site. Most of us will not see that, but it gives you the capability of doing that as well. So that shows you the different types of devices and where you set those up as priority. You can move this up. I'll show you. I'll just do this. This will always be my first priority. And I can commit the change now here. Boom. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and send that. So that will take just a second. So we'll just show you here quickly from your first time installation. I doubt this would be done very much. This is your router security. So I can see here, I'm in my default configuration. I'll be changing all this before we travel to our first location. And I can edit, I can change what this looks like. Currently I'm in the default mode, and I'll be changing both what the username to gain access to this system is, and of course the password from the default. You can do things like change your SSID. Right now it says 1900. I'll be changing that to something else as time goes on. But this is where all those basic configurations are set up. I'd like to thank RV Mobile Connect for providing us the Cradlepoint 1900 cellular router, as well as the Parsec Husky antenna for us to evaluate for this video. Now, that aside, what were my initial impressions? Well, I'm just absolutely astounded. My expectations were not that I would be able to get this type of cellular connectivity from this location. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like as we get into other areas into our travel where cellular connectivity may be better. And I'll be showing that in a video as we go down the road and go into different locations, how this system is performing. I'll share with you some updates as time goes on. But I had no idea. Did I think it would be better? Yeah, I thought it would be a little bit, but to be able to go from sub-megabit downloads to 17 and 18 in this location, I'm just absolutely astounded. And I can see why when you look at the advancements in this radio. This is a Cat 20 radio. Again, when you're starting to look and making comparisons of equipment to equipment, this was a Cat 20 and I was using a Cat 7. So this is leaps and bounds from where I was at as far as strong technology. Now, another thing that I will share about Cradlepoint, as I started doing my research and talking to both RV Mobile Connect and then the systems engineer, I went, where are these used other than the RV community? You know, this is quite a sophisticated device. I was told that literally hundreds of thousands, many hundreds of thousands of these are installed throughout the United States. Many of your state governments use them in things like when you see the State Patrol or the Sheriff Department typing in information on a laptop. Many of those in many states are using Cradlepoint for that. They're installed in ambulances. Why? Well, when they're doing telemetry, EKG, and those types of things back to the hospital as they're going down the road, they want the most reliable connection that they can provide, and they wanted to use Cradlepoint for that. There's military applications. I was really impressed with military applications. Why? I needed something hardened, as you do, as we travel down the road and bump, beat these electronic devices to death. Then if it's military hardened, then we have a good, strong indication these are going to be very reliable in our RV travels from day to day. So very, very impressed. I'll mention this as well. Cradlepoint is made in the United States, as well as all of its software is made within the United States. Not just what we saw from that web application that I was showing you earlier, but the software that's actually operating inside the units itself. And why do I bring that up? Well, many corporations are going to be very cautious when they allow you to connect to their network, especially if you're using, again, I was talking about IP phones, or you're connecting remotely to that very large corporate server to be able to do, you know, access and move files back and forth. They're going to want to know that the devices that you're using are proper and well maintained and do not have suspicious software that may be developed offshore. And that's the good thing about Cradlepoint. If they're used by the United States government, if they're used by many of the state agencies throughout the U.S., then we can have some assurity that these have been tested in many, many labs to know that it's good, reliable software, and we don't have any sneaky things going on that we need to be worried about. So again, entertainment purposes, you're using this to watch IPTV, that's not as big a concern. But for those of us who are working in corporate networks, of which I do, and those of us who are handling things like financial transactions that might be going on, like billing and those types of things like I do,
then I want to make sure that I have as strong a network as possible to be able to make sure that those transactions are safe and my clients have nothing to worry about, or my corporate entity that I'm working with has nothing to worry about. Really, really impressed with this unit. Well, again, thanks to RV Mobile Connect. If you're interested in looking at either their basic package, again, their basic packages are anything but basic other than from a price standpoint. They're still the good, reliable Cradlepoint systems that we're seeing, all the way up into some of the more advanced 5G systems, such as the 1900 that I'm using at. I will put a link in the description of today's video, as well as go out to our blog at ilovervlife.com. You'll see today's blog. I'll have some additional information that you're able to view, as well as links to RV Mobile Connect for these premium systems. And again, I want to stress this as well. If you have the technical capabilities that I have to be able to do the types of installs that I have and the basic setup of this unit, again, even without using a system engineer, I was able to get this online and work day one. Then I got my 1 hour with that system engineer, and they completely opened my eyes to the software capabilities and how to do the configuration, how to look at the health of my connection, and really less than an hour. And then that other 30 minutes, we just talked about other types of interconnectivity that I might have. It was really a very pleasant experience. Thank you again, RV Mobile Connect. We appreciate you providing this evaluation unit. I do these types of things to help us. We, the RV traveler who is needing entertainment and needing homeschool and needing to be able to work as a nomad while we're out on the road, and to be able to do it well, do it effectively, and still have time to be able to have fun. And the other reason I do it, you got it, it's because I love RV life.